I'm back! If you can tell by the fact that I'm smiling, I've missed this. As strange as it may seem, because, I love spending time with family, love enjoying the summer, being outside, enjoying the sun. I got to go to the beach finally. And, this process of sharing my life, sharing my story, my journey, what it's like to have cancer and everything, it's become a part of my routine, a part of my life, a part of who I am at this point, and I've missed it. So definitely enjoyed the week off that I took, but I'm also very, very happy to be back and excited about it. So, what I thought I'd do for this video, since I just got back yesterday, I thought I'd kind of give you an update, how the week went, kind of what I did, the ups, the downs. Surprisingly, and it's a very good thing, there's more ups than downs, very few downs in fact, which is kind of rare because it seems like for the last almost 4 months at this point, it's like whenever something gets better, something gets worse, but it's like, nope, pretty much everything got better. This past week has been really fun, so let's get into it. On Friday, my dad came to get me, which is good because, in the past I take the bus, meet him. Well, there used to be an option to take local buses that would stop in all the small villages, so he could come get me in a village that was maybe 15, 20 minutes from where he lived. Unfortunately, how the world works in general, things are like, no, that's too much work. Let's just go directly from one big city to the other big city and people can just drive there. Screw them. So anyway, normally I would take the bus to Gatineau, which is a town that's on the other side of the river in a different province from Ottawa, and it's roughly 45 minutes, 50 minutes away from my dad, and he'd drive there and then pick me up. But given the situation, everything, he offered to come get me, and I'm like, sure, you know what, let's do it. It's going to make my life much simpler. I appreciate it. Let's go with that. So on Friday, he came, picked me up, then we drove back to his place, and I stayed with him, obviously Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, so 2 full days. And then on Monday, we went ahead and drove to my sister's, and then we spent, obviously, part of Monday there, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, yesterday, my dad came, brought me back to my house, and then headed home. So that's kind of an overview of the timeline. So, because, if you remember a couple of videos ago, a couple of weeks ago at this point, but a couple of videos ago, when I wanted to go to the beach, and it ended up being a pool day instead of a beach day, and I'm like, it was fun, obviously, but I'm like, I really want to have at least one day this year where I get to go to the beach, to enjoy the beach, to enjoy the water, to enjoy the sun, and, it just doesn't feel like summer without it, and, obviously get a sunburn. If you can't tell, I don't know how easy it is to tell on the camera, but I definitely got a sunburn in my face, shoulders, and the worst of all was on the tops of my feet. Because at this point, I spent a lot of time inside over the last few months, haven't really been exposed to the sun that much, and I always wear shoes when I go outside. My feet are just super white, so of course, the second that I'm in the sun, instant sunburn. And the funny thing is, before I left, when I was packing, I'm like, should I bring sunscreen? I'm like, it's not worth it. I won't be in the sun enough to warrant bringing and wearing sunscreen. Obviously, I should have. And yeah, as you might be able to tell, my skin is starting to peel. So there's that fun process. But it's part of summer. I kind of feel like if I don't get a sunburn, I didn't really enjoy the summer. So got to go to the beach and got a sunburn, so I definitely enjoyed the summer this time. We ended up going to a lake actually on Saturday, first full day that I was at my dad's. We got there in the morning, maybe around 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. And it was a relatively cool day. So when we got there was barely anyone at the beach. And it was actually kind of cold. So I'm like, ooh, hopefully it gets warmer, because if this stays like this, I don't think I'll be able to go in the water, because at this point I'm very skinny, and within minutes of being in the water, even if the water is warm, my body just ends up starting to shiver, and then I get out and it's It's a pretty big lake, so there's always a breeze, and then I continue shivering, and I can't stop, and it just sucks, and it's like I don't get to enjoy the beach. So I was just like, I really, really hope that this afternoon's a nice day. And it turned out to be a super nice day. In fact, the perfect day. It was sunny enough that we could feel the heat of the sun, enjoy it, not be too cold. But there was also clouds coming by every once in a while to give us shade and cool us down. So it was literally the perfect combination. And unfortunately, because of what I just described, I'm like, I don't want to spend too much time in the water because I don't want to spend the rest of the day shivering and it's going to suck. But I know I'm going to regret it if I don't go in the water. I am a person who loves the water. And to me, going to the beach is not just chilling on the beach. Going to the beach is going in the water and swimming and enjoying it. Given my current condition, I'm not necessarily as strong as I was, so swimming, not necessarily something that's as enjoyable because I just get out of breath as a result. But I'm like, I need to go in the water at least. So I ended up going in the water just for a couple minutes. And the great thing is I didn't stay long enough to start shivering. And because of the sun when I came out, my body dried very quickly and I didn't shiver at all. So I got to enjoy the water and enjoy the sun and not be too cold, which was great. Everything about that day was great. The only thing that sucked is the sunburn that I got as a result of that. But, you know, that's my own fault. Plus, like I said, it's not really summer if you don't get a sunburn, so it's all good. I don't regret anything. So anyway, spent a couple of days with my dad. Really fun. Got to, you know, spend time with him, catch up, and, you know, it's always fun to be with him. And then after that, as I mentioned, we went to my sister's. And the only, not necessarily damper, but difficult conversation I had to have with my sister was the whole, you know, given the situation, the potential news that I'll be getting next week, I had to look into my company's life insurance to see how that process all works. And, you know, given the situation, my wife's in a different country. She doesn't speak English or French, at least not well enough to handle stuff like that. So I had to ask my sister, like, you know, if the worst were to happen, would you be able to handle that on her behalf to make sure that, you know, they have all the necessary information, you know, death certificate, stuff like that, and make sure that my wife gets my life insurance. So not exactly a pleasant conversation, but, you know, as expected, my sister's like, yeah, no problem, I'll handle it. Just, you know, send me all the info by email, that way I'll have it. And if ever it comes to that, I'll take care of it, don't worry about it. So had that difficult conversation. The rest was great. Got to spend time with, you know, obviously my sister, my niece, my nephew, my brother-in-law, and my uncle. And my dad, still there, so we spent time with him there too. And it was really fun. The only thing is, like at this point, it's limited what my body can handle. And my niece is very intense. Don't get me wrong, I love her, I love spending time with her, but she can be intense. And whenever I'm there, because she loves me, because she wants to spend time with me, and because she wants to play with me, she pretty much follows me around all the time and tries to get me to do stuff with her, which is sweet. You know, I love the fact that she wants to spend time with me. I love her and everything, but given the condition, like, I get tired quickly. And there was one day, in fact, the last full day that I was there, I just wasn't like feeling that well. I ended up not going for a walk on that morning, even though I go for a walk every single morning, because it rained very heavily during the night and there was still a lot of clouds. And I'm like, it could rain. I don't want to deal with having to, you know, go for a walk and then getting soaked and then coming back. And I'm just like, that's going to suck. So let me just wait. Maybe later it's going to be nicer and I can go for a walk then. But anyway, ended up not taking a walk that day. And either a result of that or simply because it was one of those days, I just had a bad day. Like, really wasn't hungry, wasn't able to eat as much as usual. Didn't feel good. I was very cold. It just wasn't a fun day. And of course, that was one of the days where my niece was just like on me the entire day of like, let's play, let's do this, let's, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, especially like one instance I can think of is when I was trying to eat. It was lunch and I'm just like, I made 2 sandwiches and I had a pepper that I wanted to eat. And I had no appetite. I wasn't hungry. So I had to force myself to eat, and it was a very slow process. And my niece was just there the entire time, just like waiting for me and, asking me questions like, hey, look at this and whatever. And I'm just like, it'll be more fun for you if you just go outside and play while I finish eating. And then once I'm done, I can go ahead and join you. But she's just like, nope, I'm staying right here with you. And it's like, I'm not going to be bored, but it's just like, she has so much energy at that age. She's 7. And it's just, she wants to spend time with me and like interact with me. And it's just like, it was already kind of an exhausting process having to force myself to eat. But on top of that, having my niece just like constantly, bombarding me with questions and, hey, look at this and stuff like that. It was just like, it was very intense. Not to say I didn't appreciate everything, like I enjoyed spending time with her, but it was a very intense and kind of exhausting day overall. And I also ended up like coughing more that day and having more breathing issues. So I'm like, all right, the night's gonna suck. But turns out it was actually the opposite. It ended up being one of the best nights I've had in months. Barely any breathing issues, barely any coughing. And yes, I did wake up a couple times throughout the night, but every time I woke up, I would just turn over, go right back to sleep. Only woke up twice to go to the bathroom, and the second time was at 7 a.m. So, I just ended up, after I was done, chilling in bed, relaxing, thinking about stuff. And the cool thing about it is it's been a very long time since I've been able to lie in bed on my back and not have breathing issues. And I think I was about an hour in bed, just chilling. And I was able to be on my back, and it didn't really make my breathing worse. A tiny bit, but barely. And that feels like a huge milestone to me. And, since I've been back, so I got back yesterday. Last night was also a good night. There was a period of about 2 hours during the middle of the night where I just couldn't sleep. It wasn't like I was thinking or stressed about something or anything like that. It's just like, oh, okay, I guess, my body's not tired right now. So cool, let's just think about stuff, think about, my wife or future, whatever, like, pleasant thoughts. So overall, another very good night. Not perfect, but very good. Also only went to the bathroom twice, didn't wake up that often throughout the night. So it seems like things are getting much better. Also, throughout the week while I was at my dad's and at my sister's, I was able to start eating more. And especially at my sister's, except for that one day where it was horrible, I just had a crappy day. I noticed that, hey, I'm able to have normal meals at relatively normal times, and I don't need to snack in between. I'm able to have big enough meals that I'm able to eat almost normally. And that felt like a huge milestone. And once again, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to keep going. But as of now, it seems like everything is getting better. The breathing is slowly getting better. The coughing is slowly getting better. I'm able to walk. I feel good. I feel energetic and everything. In fact, I kind of noticed this pattern so far in the last 3 weeks since I started walking consistently. There's only been 2 days where it's raining and I couldn't go for a walk. And both of those days, I ended up feeling kind of bad and crappy. I don't know if it's a result of me not walking. Because it's only 2 days, it's impossible to tell if that's the correlation that happened. But that's kind of the impression it's giving me. So it seems like walking is making a huge difference. It's helping me with the appetite, it's helping me with sleep, and just helping me overall be better. Because when I was with my dad and my sister, obviously I would go for my walk every day, and then I would do more physical activity, like, we went to the beach with my dad, and then playing with my niece, and stuff like that. So it's just like more physically exhausting. And even though that seems like a bad thing, and on that one crappy day that I had it was, but aside from that, it's actually good because it seems like, all right, my body, when it gets physically pushed, not too much, but a little more than I've been pushing it lately, it seems like, all right, it makes things better. Like I'm able to sleep better, able to eat better, I feel better overall. So it seems like things, like everything is getting better. And that's the beauty of this. For once, there isn't like, hey, this thing is better, but there's this thing that's worse. It's just This thing is better, this thing is better, this thing is better, this thing is better. And there is no, but this thing is worse. So I don't know what the results of the scan will be. I don't know what will happen as a result of the results. But right now, all I can tell is my body is doing much better, and that is very, very good news. So that's pretty much a summary of the week. The only damper on the entire situation is because I was so busy, you know, spending time with my family and enjoying myself, that I didn't realize just how much I missed my wife until yesterday when I got back and we got to speak on video. Because the thing is, at my dad's place, he doesn't have Wi-Fi, and obviously I can't plug an Ethernet cable into my cell phone, and the reception is very, very bad. Like, to the point where half the time I don't receive messages until, like, for sometimes minutes, hours, until I'm in a spot that has reception, and then it comes in. Same for sending messages. Sending images takes forever, and there is no way in hell that I could make a video call. So when I was at my dad's, I couldn't speak to my girlfriend at all, except briefly by text. When I was at my sister's, I did have a couple of quick video conversations with her, but because I was with my family, you know, I didn't want to spend too much time away from them. The whole point is to visit them and spend time with them. So I didn't really realize just how much I missed my wife and speaking with her until I got back yesterday and we got to speak for multiple hours. And I realized, like, it hit me like, wow, I really missed her. Because, like, for the last 4 months, let's say, our interactions have been limited simply because of my conditions. Like, hey, if I'm coughing too much and talking is making me cough more, like, it's difficult for us to speak. So even though I wanted to spend time with her, I wanted to have those video calls that we normally have every day, like, I couldn't do that every day for the last 4 months. And there were periods where it's more intense and more difficult. And that kind of, like, built up. And not being able to speak to her, barely being able to speak to her for the last week, even though I really enjoyed spending time with family, yesterday it just kind of, like, hit me, and I realized, like, wow, I really, really missed her. And I'm just really glad that I'm back home and, you know, proper cell reception, proper Wi-Fi, and I'm able to, you know, spend time with her. Even though it's only by video call for now, and I am really looking forward to us finally being together, you know, physically, and being able to start building our life together. You know, just having that connection, that ability to see her and speak with her and hear her voice and everything, it just, yeah, it hit me yesterday. I'm just like, wow, I didn't realize how much, like, how important, how big of a part of my life that was. So that was the only kind of downside of the entire week. But overall, very glad I got to spend time with my father, with my sister, my entire family. And it was just a very fun week. And I'm glad I got to kind of take a break from the whole YouTube thing. But I'm also very glad and excited and happy to be back. And all right, let's, you know, go back to sharing what's going on in my life. Now that things are going better, videos can be more positive, more uplifting, more motivating. And in a couple of days, next Wednesday, once I get the results of the test, then, you know, there's probably going to be a couple of videos where it's going to be like, all right, big news, big bombshells, deciding what the plan is for the future. So, you know, I don't know what the future is going to hold, what to expect. I try not to have any expectations at this point, but, you know, I'm glad that I'm back, that I'm able to share this, and I know that the next, you know, couple weeks are going to be intense. Hopefully in a good way, but I don't know. And I'm glad I'm being able to be back here and share this with my YouTube family. So, just want to say, glad to be back. Thank you to everyone who watches, who's subscribed, who likes and comments and everything. I really appreciate you guys. I love you. And that's pretty much all I have to say. And it's been almost 20 minutes. So hope you enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I missed the button. Yes!